Oh, they're coming here. They're coming here.
Where are they coming?
Garage here. See. One's garage.
Phoenix.
Garage and too long. Yeah. That's in the garage.
Raze got a lot of hate for being, quote, easy to play, but with all the recent nerfs, she might be one of the hardest duelists to main right now. In this video, I hope to make playing Raze a little bit easier by giving advice on entry fragging, correct ability usage, and how to play and hold sites. If you're the only duelist on the team, you're gonna have to entry frag, and that means a lot of your rounds are gonna look like this. Entering with Raze can be pretty tricky at first. She doesn't have the flashbangs like Phoenix and Reyna, and she doesn't have her own smokes like Jett does. These agents can push into dangerous spaces pretty easily with their utility. Raze, however, can't just plug walk onto a site. Using her nade and bomb buddy correctly will make entry fragging a million times easier. In this clip, the enemy Raze peeks with her boom buddy, catching me off guard when I try to shoot it down. Raze's nade is not only good for damage, you can force players to move away from certain areas and into your gunfire. In this clip, I use Raze's nade to force Reyna out behind the wall and into the open. And last but certainly not least, her satchels. They can be used to aggressively entry or get to positions that enemies won't expect you, but don't do the same thing every round. Enemies will figure you out fast no matter what rank they are. Satchels are also phenomenal at breaking utility. Like, let's say that there's a Cypher trap or a Killjoy egg somewhere, just throw down a satchel, it's worth it. Haven Garage is one of my favorite places to entry on Raze. First, I use this bomb buddy. It clears everything on the lower level and makes sure that I can't get shot by somebody sitting in a corner with a judge. Once I know the lower level is clear, I'll throw a nade right into window to allow me to walk into garage without having to take a fight. This allows me to take space for my team without risking dying early in the round. If you're interested in learning map-specific lineups, I have videos on these. Now that I've covered the basics of entry fragging, let's watch this round together. So first I use my satchel and my ult to outskill those two individuals, and now I know there's somebody in CT, so I throw this nade back here to pressure them out of the strong position and to let me grab this gun. Next, I know this Sage is going to try to retake this angle, so I use the boombot technique and absolutely dumpster her. Now the reason I push up here is to make sure that there's nobody that could shoot me in the back while I'm watching the rest of site. There are two main ways I like to play Raze on defense. One is by playing passively and playing retake, waiting until the enemy takes sight and then nading and satcheling them to get a lot of free damage in. The second way is to use Raze's nade to separate a person or multiple people from their team in order to take aggressive fights. I personally love this method because attackers' main advantage is numbers. When they're together, they can trade, but when you split them off from each other, you'll find yourself getting a lot of free kills. Back to the passive strategy for a second, I find that throwing a lot of my stuff through smokes works very well because most of the time people aren't trying to push you when you're satcheling them. This playstyle is best paired with a Cypher or a Killjoy so that they can get information for you so you don't have to peek while nading or satcheling them. Now I want you to pay attention to how I use my abilities in this clip to isolate 1v1s. Just to break down what happened, first I used my boom buddy to locate where the enemy were. I knew that someone was shooting at it from grass, and then, based off my audio, I knew that someone else was close garage. I then used my nade to split off that close player and take a fight with the far away player. While we're on the topic of isolating 1v1s, you can actually do this without using any utility. Holding a tight angle that isn't exposed to an open space is the best and most reliable way to not get traded. Now it's time to talk about the best part of playing Raze, going aggressive and making plays. This playstyle works best when the enemy doesn't expect you to keep pushing when you've already taken a site or taken a lot of space. The key to pushing and being aggressive is straight up confidence. Now obviously on some maps and in some positions you're not going to want to just balls to the wall push everything, but in this instance on Ascent, I know that I can isolate a bunch of different 1v1s if I just keep going. Now, just like double satcheling or double jumping, this playstyle is not going to work consistently. It's best used as a switch up from playing passively or playing normally. And you're always going to want to keep in mind the rule of thumb, don't get shot by 2 guys at once. Raze's ult is an amazing tool for making plays, and it's best used when combined with the team flash.
Okay, can you listen for footsteps grass?
Yes.
And then flash it. Yep.
And here's your daily reminder to always double satchel at oppers who are alone. Also, now that Breach is meta, you can use your satchels to get out of his ult.
Guess you're not fucked.
Wait, that's so smart.
So, in conclusion, when you're entry fragging, use your boombot to scope out where enemies are and peek with it, and use your nade on powerful enemy positions, like sight here. On defense, isolate fights and peek with your nade, or play passively and just nade the hell out of people who are trying to plant. Make plays sometimes, catch the enemy off guard. And finally, the most important tip of all is to subscribe to Swens on YouTube. He's a really cool guy, and he's really cool, and he makes YouTube videos. You should subscribe. Jokes aside, we just hit 3,000 subscribers. This is absolutely crazy. You guys, over this last month, have completely changed the way that I'm looking at YouTube. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out the socials in the description. I respond a lot on Discord. I stream semi-annually now. I'm going to start streaming a lot more in September when I get my own place and I have actual internet. And yeah, I've been Swens.